Okay, look, we gotta get it done. I mean, look, we've already delayed this a couple of days already as it is. I know it's been a lot of complications, but we got to get this done. We got to do it now. I can actually talk for a period of time straight, so I have to worry about that, me coughing and all that. So we're going to do it now. All right.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to the first episode of Trend Chat in 2020. I am your host, Brian Bledsoe. And if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. It's all the same at Trend Chat 24/7. Okay, as I mentioned this, let's go ahead and cut that music because I feel like this is going to be shorter than most, only because it kind of goes into why it's been delayed as far as this particular episode being the first one. I know in post on social media we said it would be on the 9th, and here it is. What is the 14th almost? And yeah, there was numerous complications as I mentioned in the beginning. One being that I guess the studio was under repair. When I said studio, I mean that the truck that I'm in was in the shop for a couple of days. Yes, 2020 has not started in the best fashion. With the truck being in the shop, me being sick, not like on my deathbed sick, but sick enough to where it kept me from speaking, at least for a long period of time for the podcast. That being said, still not 100%, but I'm still I need to get this done because one, just, our candidate interviews, which we're starting with this episode, we'll have Floyd McLendon on, and we have so many, especially for our usual time to be on every week. If I keep delaying this, I'm going to have to start doing 2 a week or something like that, because in the interviews that we have, I want to make sure they're out before the primary, which is for Texas, at least the Texas primary, which would be March the 3rd. So right now, that's all the candidates that we have are from Texas. So, like I said, we want to get those out before the primary. And at the rate that we have, or the candidates that we have, like I said, I need to get it out, and look like I'm not going to be able to avoid it. So they're probably going to be, if not 1 or 2 weeks, where I'm going to do 2 episodes a week. Just so I can make sure everything gets in before March 3rd. So that being said, I'm sucking it up, try to make sure I can just say enough to get the interview out. But I'm also going to try to mention a couple other things. But before I get into any of that, I just want to mention one of our podcast partners, TrumpMug.com. Just if you're looking for any sort of Trump-centric gear, whether it's mugs, obviously, signs, hats, coins, or anything like that, just go to TrumpMug.com and put in the code TRENDCHAT. You get 10% off on anything on the site. Like, they have this one thing on there where you can buy like a little stamp to put on money saying Trump lives here, or Trump 2020. I forget what it says now, but signs. I guess those foam hats. I don't know if y'all seen some of the videos of these huge MAGA hats, and they have those as well. So yeah, go to TrumpMug.com and put in the code TRENDCHAT. So just want to start off with that. And speaking of that, I do want to talk about, I guess, what everyone was talking about the past couple of weeks, because it's almost been a month since the last time we was on. But I guess the major story was World War III, which it came and passed. Yeah, I know it was here. We was talking about getting drafted and everything, and that's over. I mean, it was the shortest war that I've ever heard of. But yeah, it's all the stuff that happened with Iran and the media coverage after that, with the Soleimani, General Soleimani, being executed. Don't have the media say it, because they made it seem like he was such this great leader, and like, I mean, they had more sympathy for him than they do for Trump. And it really just kind of shows how biased and that the media can be, because that whole situation, everything that's been going on with Iran, is just really showing how Democrats and the media are just willing to just not get behind the president on anything, just for the reason, just because. And I know I can hear people say like, well, that's what Republicans did to Obama. They want to get now. Okay, we could go there, because when Bin Laden, got killed, that was during the Obama administration. I didn't see any Republicans like being all sympathetic and about Bin Laden. Now, I could say a lot said about when Bin Laden was killed, that it was done in spite of Obama. Even the fact that it was done, I could definitely remember that didn't want to give him the full credit for that. But at the same time, had no problem with Bin Laden being killed. They've just, Republicans just wasn't jumping on giving him all the credit and giving a pat on the back about it. But in this case, Democrats won't even do that. Because I would think they would probably go that route, where they were like, well, he was a terrorist. He was, he killed thousands of people, and plotted against killing American soldiers and soldiers of other countries as well. And we're glad that he is no longer with us. But Trump that, like, and give all their criticism that way. But no, they were just almost defending the general, as well as the media as well. So, but one thing about this is that, I mentioned, because if you're on social media, regardless, you probably were seeing all these little memes about being drafted and everything, and people was freaking out, I guess, in a way. I guess maybe, but I would say one thing about, if this was real, if we were going towards like a real global scale war, honestly, I think for one, I don't think we're nearly as united as previous times of war. If this, like I said, if this was going to go down, and I can't imagine. I would be skeptical of if we, like, say for instance, if we did the whole draft and everything, and even if we didn't, I'm just not as optimistic about especially if people came in through a draft, or even, let's say for instance, none of that happened. I don't think the support will be there, at least from a good half of the country, only because, how the media will continue to report it. It will almost probably look like another Vietnam, as far as the reporting goes, not so much at how it will actually go on the battlefield, but the reporting of it will be probably in the same vein if probably, well, worse than that, really. But I can see people openly cheering against the United States if we were in such a war in this country. I go so far as to say I wouldn't be surprised you have people actually giving intelligence to the other side because they think we don't deserve to win or whatever, or like the Kaepernicks of the world and whatnot, because they keep going on this same old tired trope of how America's so bad, and where they're like, why would I help the United States? They never did nothing for us. Like, I mean, just totally not dismissing everything that has been done in this country and just living in the past and just have this mentality that they're always the victim and are the continual, perpetual victims, and nothing will satisfy them. And if we were ever caught up in some sort of war, I would think they would be the first one to turn on us, and just because of that mentality. So yeah. That being said, we're not there. Like I said, that war came and passed. I mean, it was like that war, World War, that was something else. And also thinking about that, just the whole concept of saying that it would have been World War III, right? I almost wonder if that actually went down, would it really be a world war? Saying, would other countries actually join with the United States? I kind of wonder that too, especially with the whole, when you look at the United Nations and, I kind of wonder who would actually join. I mean, I'm pretty sure some would, but yeah, anyway, it's not really much to talk about because it didn't really happen. So, and now, we're back to talking about more important things like, Golden Globes and Oscars and Democrat debates, which I did not watch. So, but neither one of them actually. What Oscars are not, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to watch that either. So, anyway, I think it's time for a break. I can feel it in my throat. So, let's hear a word from my friends from the Founding Project while I get a drink of water. And we'll be back for, I guess we'll talk about the Golden Globes, that the few highlights of that.
Hello, Trend Chat fans. The Founding Project invites you to experience our latest resource to take civics to citizens, TFP's new website. Visit us at www.thefoundingproject.com. Be a part of the civics movement with the Founding Project. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Join us today.
This is Dana Lash, and you're listening to Trend Chat.
All right, so I know, again, it's been a while, and the Golden Globes were over a week ago, but I think what happened there is still worth talking about. In particular, what happened with Michelle Williams, if you heard that speech and everything. But also, I guess I want to start off with the with the monologue with Ricky Gervais, yeah, and which I didn't watch it, like I mentioned before, but I was seeing the commotion on Twitter and what was going on. Then I came across and actually saw the clip of it, and as I'm pretty sure you've heard since then, that it was for one, everyone was kind of surprised that he was even allowed to say it, or he was not pulled off the stage, or just saying that this is the speech that they needed to hear. How he just roasted Hollywood and over, which was funny because I remember seeing where liberals were saying, especially in Hollywood, was saying that what Ricky Gervais was saying was right wing, which if you think about what he joked about and what he mentioned in that monologue, and also I think, I'm just gonna go with the monologue itself. But what he mentioned, okay, he made a Jeffrey Epstein joke, which that's not really right wing. I mean, at least it shouldn't be. If Jeffrey Epstein being, the scum of the earth that he is, and things that he were involved in as far as, sexual deviancy, I guess, if you want to say. Okay, that really shouldn't be a right-wing issue. I would think both sides would agree that is just, abhorrent. Then he made a joke about Harvey Weinstein, another sexual predator. And that was, okay, he made that joke. All right. And then he also made a joke about Apple running sweatshops. And so all of that together, and then the verdict from the liberals is that this is right wing comedy or whatever. I would think everyone could agree that or at least understand that from both sides. But the fact that they're so upset about it kind of shows that they really don't care about these issues. Especially if we're talking about sex trafficking and everything like that. And so if someone make a joke about it, then you want to get all upset about it and willing to, I ain't gonna say you're going out to defend them, but you just don't want anything said about it. I mean, that kind of shows a lot. But then again, I mean, we're all talking about Hollywood in particular. So I'm pretty sure not a lot of them don't want this to be exposed or don't want to be talked about, because I wouldn't be surprised a lot of them are involved in it. Some of them are and just haven't been caught. Some may never get caught. But they don't want I guess it's not really a secret. I guess it's kind of like an open secret in a way. But, so they were pretty upset about that. But another thing that happened during the show, which caught the attention of a lot of people, especially people like myself who are pro-life, is the speech from Michelle Williams, where she basically admitted in her speech that she couldn't get to the position she's at and win this little trophy without the choice of killing her child. And like I said, this has been over a week ago, but I remember just, how people were saying how, disgusting and vile it is to have that sort of mentality, which I agree. And for one, when I heard it, it was particularly heartbreaking, mainly because, we're talking about a death of a child. That's not how she put it, but that's what she was talking about right there on stage while people were sitting there clapping about it. But in the same sense, as far as this being heartbreaking to hear, talking about this one child that was talked about and applauded while liberal Hollywood basically just applauded a child's death in a way. As heartbreaking as that is, this happens every day to hundreds, thousands over in a year. Happens every day. It just, we don't hear about it because they're not famous actresses standing on stage getting little Golden Globe Awards. Because every day this is going on where the convenience of our lives tend to be more important than humanity of the lives in the womb. I mean, and that's the heartbreaking part about it, because we're talking about so many that are constantly being killed day in, day out. And I've been seeing memes a couple of, in the past, week or so. And one kind of make the point so they'll show a picture of her and then show a picture of a mother and their child, and like a newborn baby, and they will have at the top, is it worth it? And apparently she would say yes, because she went up there and said that. So as much as we're trying to make the point with this meme of showing that, it seems very much that she would say yes, it is worth it, because she does not, like so many, think that child is an actual life or valuable enough, or even if she thinks all of that, doesn't think it's worth living because of the convenience of wanting to have her career. Just convenience in general, which is for the most part how most abortions are done in this country, out of convenience. So, and we as a country have accepted that. There's a good number of people who either, one, don't care and totally are for abortion, or don't care enough to even want to do anything about it, because they don't think it's worth getting into that discussion, because it's think it's a private issue, or it's not for me to say. Well, if people are getting killed, if innocent lives are being killed, I think we all have something to say about innocent lives dying. We would say the same if we were talking about anything else, but when it comes to abortion, we tend to want to be silent about it. So, but I mean, look, really, let's be honest. I mean, personal responsibility. So, like I mentioned about how convenience is, in a lot of cases, the reason why abortions tend to happen for the most part. I mean, when it comes to personal responsibility as a country, that's not really our strong suit. I mean, whether in other issues, whether we're talking about healthcare, I don't know, racism, personal security, anything that put the onus on us to be responsible for our actions and for the choices that we make. And in this case, talking about choices of having sex and all that entails, that comes with that, dealing with that personal responsibility. Yeah, that's something that we tend to, as a country, and it shows over the years. Like we have no problem, passing the buck to someone else. Like I said, like healthcare, we don't want to be personally responsible for our own health. We want someone else to pay for it, so it could be quote unquote free. We don't want to be personally responsible for our own, for our personal security by, using the Second Amendment. So we have people where they're voting people like in Virginia who would take away your rights. So you don't have the responsibility, and you could have, the government basically do everything for you. Anything that keep away from us, taking the responsibility away from us, and basically stripping away our rights at the same time. It seems like we as a country are just going further and further in that direction. You can just clearly see that by the Democratic debate, by how, with their socialist policies that are being espoused up there on those podiums, even from someone as, a moderate, I guess you could say, like Joe Biden. So it's, it's it's one thing, and just kind of want to wrap up on this speech and from Michelle Williams. I would hope we would come to a day where, and this is sad that I have to at least take it to this point. I will hope one day we could get to the point to where someone will make a speech like that if they will said something similar, that we as a country will realize what has been done over the course of years, decades, that we will hear something like that in the future and we will be horrified. We'll be united in how horrified in hearing someone talk about how killing their child was worth a trophy.
Politics and other stuff, maybe. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
What's going on, folks? This is Colin Noir, and you're listening to Trend Chat.
Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat. Also contributor at politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. All right. Yeah. Having to take a couple more seconds. But we're going to get to our interview with Floyd McLendon. Like I said, this is going to be the first of our candidate interviews, I guess, a series. I haven't really named it, but yeah, we're going to talk to a number of candidates about their campaign, what they're running on, and what inspired them to run, and just to give you an idea as far as who they are. And look, I can say this now, you're not going to get their full bio, but it is a little something. And so our first one is with Floyd McLendon, and we're going to get there. But before that, just want to mention about 1776united.com. So one thing I wear as far as shirts and hats, they have these great stylish patriotic hats that I wear pretty much all the time. You've probably seen them if you looked on anything that I posted on social media. You've probably seen it when I was on Chad Prather's show. I was wearing some of it then. So yeah, they got a wide array of patriotic, and 2A, pro 2A shirts and hats and mugs and everything. So if you go to 1776united.com and you put in the code Trend Chat, just like the show, name of the show, Trend Chat, and you get 20% off on your purchase. So yeah, check them out. And again, it's 1776united.com. So, all right. So without further ado, we're gonna get to, now think about it. Not trying to stall, but this is something that's off the top of my head. I wish I would have made some sort of little catchy intro, because like I said, this is gonna be maybe, I don't know, 8 or 10 of these. I should have made some little catchy intro, like these are the candidate series or something like that. I don't know. I didn't think about that. But then again, the past couple of weeks, I probably would have thought about it if I wasn't, had the other issues. And anyway, let's get to it. Here we go.
Hello, this is Trent Chat, and we are very pleased to have Floyd McLendon with us. He is running for U.S. Congress in the 32nd District in Texas, and we want to bring him on to talk about his campaign and issues he's going to run on, and get some other things. So, how you doing?
I'm good, Brian. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Anytime I get to talk to the American people in Texas is always a good time.
Now, for those that may not know where the 32nd District is, I guess let them know where.
So District 32 of Texas is northeast Dallas. It consists of 11 cities and 2 districts. So we're looking at North Dallas, Highland Park, University Park, and then it goes east to Richardson, Garland, Murphy, Wiley, Saxe, Rowlett, Funnyville, Mesquite, and it's Dallas County and it's Collin County.
All right. Now, what inspires you to run?
Well, what inspires me to run? I mean, that's a loaded question. So, it's multiple things actually. So this is a work in progress. It started about 7 years ago when I was approached by a former congressman after I'd done a speaking engagement. And he saw something in me and asked me if I had any interest in politics, and I laughed at him and told him that I'd never run for office. So he's like, well, I think you got what it takes. Here's my card. If you change your mind, get back to me. So at the time, I was about 4 years before retiring out of the military. I did 25 years. And I was about at year 2021. And I was headed to Guam for a couple of years. So while I was in Guam, serving over in Southeast Asia, I started to think about how I was going to continue to contribute to my country after I retired. And when I got back to the States, I was like, you know what? Let me see what this is all about. So I contacted the congressman. He started to mentor me. And then I was blessed to be able to go work on Capitol Hill pretty much my last year in the military. And I was a military legislative fellow for North Carolina congressman at the time, who was Robert Pittenger. And I got to see behind the curtain. And when I got there, and I had a very high regard for our representatives, and what I saw, I was disappointed because it didn't match what my perception was. And the thing is, you have representatives up there that want to do good, that's focusing on our country, the economy, and the American people, but they're few in numbers. So that was the second reason I was like, you know what? I need to position myself to where I can come up and increase the number so I can help these few representatives who wants to do right by their position. So that was the second piece that motivated me. And then the third one is District 32. Earlier this year, no one was stepping up for the district. And I had planned to run for Congress in 2020. I was just having a difficult time finding a seat because the 2 seats that I was looking at, the incumbents decided to stay in the seat. And once I figured that out, I got approached about District 32, and they said, hey, what about District 32 up in Dallas? Would you be willing to do that? And I found it disappointing that no one was willing to step up for a district that needed leadership. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then that's, so it's kind of like 1, 2, 3. One is it's wanting to serve my country, continue to serve my country. 2 is wanting to improve the leadership that's in Washington, D.C. And 3, it's fulfilling a need for the people. So, there you have it.
First, thank you for your service. And I guess I want to ask about the issues that you're looking to run on. And looking at your website, I have a long list of issues. And just kind of want to pick a few, mainly because just for me personally, these are issues I'm more passionate about. And given the first one up there is immigration, and just want to ask you, do you consider that like a top priority?
Absolutely. So one of the first things that I want to work on with my fellow representatives is improving the security of our country. And that requires us securing the border. And in securing the border, we prevent illegal immigration. And the problem with illegal immigration is, one, it's illegal. People aren't coming into our country like they should be, the correct way. And two, even though you have most of the people that are legally crossing our borders, they're looking for a better opportunity. They're looking to come to a place where they're safe. You have a small percentage within that group who are coming over the border for nefarious reasons, like human trafficking, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, things like that. And it's funneling through Texas, and it's funneling through our country. So we have to secure the border so we can significantly decrease illegal immigration. The process for legal immigration, we definitely need to improve. And that's something that I'm going to work with my fellow representatives, is we need to cut out the bureaucracy, the red tape, and citizens coming over here looking to become American citizens, and they're having a difficult time because of all of the administrative and monetary tape that they have to get through.
And I guess for the next issue, I would want to look at it as far as, like, and me asking this question is it is going to show where I stand, but because I call it the slaughter of human life, aka which is more popularly known as abortion. So I just want to ask what by looking at this website, I know where you stand, but I just want you to expand on it a little bit.
So Brian, it's funny because these two issues that you're picking, immigration and abortion, they are very polarizing positions when you're talking to the American people. And if you are not in line with the other person you're talking to when it comes to these two issues, we've made it difficult to communicate. And that's wrong. We should be able to value each other's difference of opinion and still respectfully communicate, and also work together to come up with a viable solution that's better for our country and the American people. Now, to answer your question, abortion, I am pro-life 100%. And to go a little bit deeper, for me, it's a question or it's not a question, but it's a competition between individual responsibility and the life of someone. And here's what I mean by that. When we talk about abortion, we rarely talk about how you get to that place. And how you get to that place is a man and woman coming together for sexual intercourse. Now, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to be having sex until you're married. This is a message that needs to come from not only the individual, but it should be coming from the family and the church and the community. Now, realistically, Brian, do I think that all of a sudden all Americans are going to abide by this? Absolutely not. However, now we're talking about sexual education, where we need to be educating the American people on, if you do decide to have sex, then you need to protect yourself from STDs, and you need to protect yourself from getting pregnant. And this is how you do that. So now here it is, you have step one. You're not supposed to be having sex until you're married. And then you have step two. Well, if you decide to do that, here are the precautions that you need to take in order for you not to get pregnant. Now, if you blow by step 1 and 2, and now step 3, all of a sudden you're pregnant, abortion is not a form of prevention. It's not a birth control. And quite frankly, like you said, it's taking someone's life. So before we even get to abortion, we need to talk about the individual responsibility of the man and the woman on their actions and actually getting to that place, which we're not doing.
Yeah, and from that issue, as you were saying, talking about immigration and abortion is very polarizing. I guess let me get a little more polarizing, just a little bit more. And the next issue is about the Second Amendment. And just wondering where, as far as for you, one thing, let me just ask this. Red flag laws, what do you think of them?
Red flag laws is going to affect law-abiding citizens. Let me repeat that. Red flag laws is going to affect law-abiding citizens. So if we have laws, so there's already laws out there, and our law-abiding citizens are law-abiding citizens. So why would I make it harder for our law-abiding citizens to protect themselves? And I'm just not a fan of red flag laws at all. And I advocate for the right for an individual to defend themselves. It's within our Constitution, and I'm not willing to change that, because here's the deal: the Democrats will tell you it's the weapon, AR-15 rifle. It's the type of weapon that it is, and this is what's causing all of this, all these killings and mass shootings. And a gun is a tool. That's it. That's all it is.
Yep.
Just like a knife is a tool. Just like a pen is a tool. A hammer is a tool. And that tool is being used by individuals. So the gun isn't the issue. The issue is the person that's wielding that tool. And okay, we take away the AR-15s. Now what? Right? Statistically, it comes out that, that didn't do anything. Well, let's continue to take away more weapons. Let's take away their handguns. Right? Let's take away their shotguns. Let's take away their rifles. Like, that'll do it. And then before you know it, the American people are defenseless. And remember, the Second Amendment was not written for to defend yourself for individual to individual. The Second Amendment was written for the people to be able to defend themselves against a potential government that wielded from tyranny.
Yeah.
That's what the Second Amendment is for. So here it is. You have the Democrats who are masking it with, well, these mass shootings, we need to take this away. And once all the weapons are taken away, then here it is. If the Democrats are controlling our government, they're going to come in and they're going to force the American people to do what they want them to do, because now we don't have a way to defend ourselves.
Yeah, and an
This
example
is the root of the issue.
Yeah, and an example of that would be what's going on in Virginia right now, where you have Democrats have taken over, and now they're just going, with full force with it. And
Brian, Brian, think of it like this, Brian. Here it is. The Democrats are saying, come to me for health care. They're saying, come to me for education. Come to me for making your country safe by us taking away weapons from you. So what they're saying is, I want you to rely on me in order for you to live. I want you to rely on me in order for you to be safe. Now, what happens if that occurs and the Democratic Party, the leftists, the socialists, whatever whatever semantic you want to use today, those leaders are now in a position to control you, and you have no way of fighting back against them. You've lost your individual responsibility. You've lost your ability to defend yourself. You've lost your ability to go out and capitalize on making a way for you and your family. So now they can control you and do whatever they want. And this is the core of it. And they're trying to do it piece by piece. And like you said, we're seeing it in Virginia.
Yeah. Now, like I said, you had a list of other issues as well, and so I definitely want everyone to to go to your website and let everyone know your website first, so if they want to see more about your issues.
Brian, my website is www.mclendonforcongress.com. It's 1C. So McLendon for Congress. And just a little bit of background of who I am. I was born and raised in Chicago, South Side, inner city. A year after I graduated from high school, I went into the Navy. I served for 25 years. I'm a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. I did my first 10 years, I was an electronic technician. Then I changed my profession to a Navy SEAL and did that for the remaining 15 years. I've worked on Capitol Hill as a legislative fellow. I just left a couple months ago. I just left the Office of the Attorney General's office. I was the executive aide for the Texas Attorney General. So I have almost, outside my military experience, I have close to 2 years of federal and state political experience with my intent in order to continue to serve my country as a leader for District 32. So go to my website, check me out. I'm on Facebook, Floyd McLendon for TX-32. I'm on Twitter, Floyd McLendon. And, our campaign, we're making great strides. We're going to win back the district from an incumbent Democrat. Normally District 32 is a Republican district. We lost it to a Democrat last year, but I'm going to win it back.
Well, Flo, we wish you all the best, and you kind of hit everything I was going to ask right after that. And so you did it all just then. So yeah, thank you for joining us. And again, if people, I guess if people want to help out with the campaign and everything else, they would just go to the website as well.
Yes, sir. They can go to my website. You can look. You need the way that you win campaigns is, one, you need people to believe in you and voice and talk about you to other people. So I'm asking those who are listening to, if you like what you hear, you go to my website, you love what you read, talk about me, push me out there. I ask if you live in District 32, come out and vote for me. And if you can't vote for me, donate. Like, anybody can donate across the country. And these are the things that win elections. And the American people needs to understand we're dissatisfied with the leadership in Congress. And the only people that's going to change that is us, the individual. Do your research on your representatives who are asking for your support. Vote for the person. Get away from these divisive politics of Democrat, Republican. Vote for the person. Figure out what that person's platform is. Figure out if they're gonna represent you, and you vote for the best person. This is the only way that we change Congress to where you have a collective group of individuals that are doing right for our country.
And as you mentioned, if they can't vote for you directly, they're definitely in support as far as donations, because that's very important. Because
very important.
Is being,
yes,
yeah, because Texas is being targeted by Democrats. So, any support for, for you and or any conservative candidates would, I would just say would be greatly appreciated. So, Floyd, thank you again for joining us, and we look to talk to you again soon.
Oh, Brian, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And, let's all pray for each other, work together as Americans, and continue to keep our country as great as it's ever been.
Hey everybody, it is Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show. You are listening to Trend Chat with my man, Brian Bledsoe. Come on with it.
All right, and thanks for Floyd for joining us. And yeah, so like I said, that's the first of our interviews, and we'll have, like I said, probably maybe 8 or 10 more, and maybe more. Like I said, as of right now, the candidates that I am interviewing are primarily, they're all in Texas. Yeah. And the Texas primary is March 3rd, and so definitely want to make sure I get those out. But if there's any others, like I said, I know the primaries are different in different states, so anything after that, I'm still open to have some after, to have people on if they want to get on the podcast. So just I guess let me know, and I guess I may find some others from other states as well. So also just want to mention Cultural Life 1972. You should check them out. We here at Trend Chat, we're proud to be part of the hashtag Life Tribe, which is celebrating life through the world of fashion. And if you go to col1972.com, and you get 10% off your purchase by putting in the code TRENDCHAT. Again, that's the code is TRENDCHAT, and you get 10% off. And if you go on col1972.com, which stands for Cultural Life, you find a number of shirts, sweaters, and a number of things that celebrate life, like I mentioned before, and when I was talking about Michelle Williams and everything, and it's good to have a organization like Culture for Life, who are again out there champion life, as opposed to many other fashion lines that are out there that are doing the exact opposite, and which are just go just check out col1972.com, col1972.com. Also odgapparel.com, check them out as well. Put in the code TC10. Stylish Christian gear. Stop being dead. That's the hat that I wear a lot from ODG Apparel. So check them out, odgapparel.com. I can notice I'm kind of rushing in a way, mainly because I feel I'm about to start coughing. But yeah, odgapparel.com. Put in the code TC10. Check them out. So, but before I start coughing and have to get off, I should be fine by the next episode. I'm hoping I am, at least I'm pretty good now. It's just the talking. I could just feel something in the back of my throat every time I talk for more than a couple sentences. Anyway, so anyway, this is not going to take long because I was talking about the Golden Globes. So the Oscars already passed. They had their nominations. I'm not going to really get into any of that. But I will make some predictions as far as who's going to win certain categories. I'm not going to go down all of them. I'm just going to pick a few of them that I think that are going to win. Whether you care, I'm just going to mention it. Well, not now. I'm just letting you know. And also, the last time we was on, Star Wars just came out. So somewhere down the line, the next episode or two, I'm going to actually give my rankings. Now with the Rise of Skywalker out, I'm going to give the rankings as far as which one I think is the best and the not best, because I mean, I like them all, just some I don't like more than others. So I'll do that in the next couple of episodes. I don't know when, but so anyway, all that being said, I appreciate everyone listening. I appreciate you being here. Like, share, and subscribe. I tell you, we look at the geolocations and see that, yeah, we are worldwide. I see Trend Chat's being listened to in Indonesia, Qatar, in UK. What other places? I saw China even in there. But yeah, so anyway, Brazil. Yeah. So but I appreciate everyone listening, and like, share, subscribe, and thank you. Now I'm about to go take some medicine, clear my throat, and be ready for the next episode. And until next time, we'll chat with you later.